Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Who thinks I have horses with people problems?
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Join us July 22nd from 10 to 3 p.m. for the Equine Extravaganza at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion, Ocala. Brought to you by West Florida Fence and the Horse Talk Show. Fundraising for Spirit Equine Therapy and Open Hands Animal Rescue. Enjoy a fantastic breed show from miniature horses to Clydesdales. With jumping and dressage demos, you can also watch barrel racing, dog training, mounted shooting, and enjoy food vendors and crafts for kids, plus a silent auction. Check the Equine Extravaganza fundraiser event on Facebook, and we'll see you on July 22nd from 10 to 3 p.m. at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion for the best in horsing around in the horse capital. Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us this week on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Betsy's not in town. We certainly miss her. Betsy, safe travels to you. You're a wonderful friend. We've got a great lineup for the show for you. Very exciting, actually, to have some great guests on with us. We have Dr. Kayot, who's going to be talking a little bit about scoping. If you've ever seen that done, you probably cringed a little bit, in case that was your face. But actually, it's quite regularly done on horses, so it's good to have an understanding of it. This is Dancing Pete Roeder. He's a bit of a handful this week, I'm just going to tell you. I would send him to complimentary horsemanship for some manners.
Send to my own program. Okay.
Yes, to his own program.
Thank you.
The great lineup after Dr. Kayot. We also have Roxy Waring with us. She is a Larson-sponsored rider, a young lady that is very, very successful. She won the high school rodeo overall, and we got a chance to chat to her a little bit about her program, her horses, and of course Larson hay that she feeds to her horses. Makes sense, right?
Alfalfa's Idaho's finest.
That's right. We're also going to have some self-care for equestrians. We're going to talk to Fabian from Reboot, and Pete here, who can't be trusted today. He's got some questions for him about burnout and avoiding it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to chat a little bit about dogs. Something really kind of came up this week, and Dr. Esther Brummond came to the rescue with dear old Aslan, and I'm very grateful to her, but it did make me start thinking about that. And we've really been talking a lot more about dogs lately, because everybody that owns a horse pretty much owns a dog.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we feel like we need a shout out for our pups.
And make sure everybody's clear who is Aslan is not a horse.
No, he's a dog.
Excuse me.
He's a dog.
Yes.
We'll get to that later. It's a good story. And the results have been phenomenal, by the way. Like
Very
off the charts. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. When you can't get a video of the previous situation because the previous situation's gone away, that's pretty good results.
That's
I
really
like
good.
that, yes. But I do want to say an absolutely huge congratulations to a friend of mine. I think I must have known her for like maybe 20 years, Jenna Antonucci. After 155 years of Belmont Stakes, there has never been a female trainer ever who's won it. And there's also never been a female trainer that's won one of the Triple Crown races before. And Ocala's Jenna Antonucci did it. So I used to help Jenna. This is the kiss the morning after. He did deserve that kiss too. Look at that. It's pretty cute, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I won money. I wish I'd put more, but I actually texted several people and said I think that horse is going to win. Not just because I know Jenna, but Jenna actually did train some horses for my mom. I've been in her barn down in South Florida, and
I can't tell you how over the top she is about everything she does with those horses, the care that she gives them, and the supplements that she gives them. She gives them DAC vitamins and minerals. And
Vitamins.
yes, DAC vitamins and minerals. And DAC vitamins and minerals has been around for 40 years. They're in their 40th year. They are NASC approved. That means the National Association of Supplements has approved each ingredient, and that each ingredient in there is absolutely what they say it is. And they have been a partner of the show since the beginning, since the first show.
So what was the name of the horse that won?
Arcangelo. I hope I said that right. Maybe it's Arcangelo. I don't know. I might have messed it up. But anyway, it's a cool name. And I was screaming as loud as Jenna. And I didn't know that until I saw the video afterwards of her screaming. And then I saw her just put her head down. And I think she cried. And I did something similar. And yeah, it was pretty exciting. And she said something that was very cool. She said, if there isn't a place for you at the table, make your own table. And I really like that, because not that I don't love all of our guy trainers that have been successful over the years. They're all wonderful. They're fantastic. You know, I've dealt with all of them in one way or the other at the different racetracks when they've won or when they're going to race in a big race, and they've all been so kind and welcoming and done interviews and let us in the barns, and I'm grateful for all of that. But it's years and years and years, I think, since we've seen anything big and significant for a female trainer like this. So I think
How about
it's
a
really
great
cool.
trainer, period?
A great trainer, period. But very cool that a woman kind of made it into what has been traditionally a very male-dominated sport as a trainer. It just has been. There's a lot of great
Look
female
out,
trainers.
world! Here come the women in the racing.
I know, right? So I was just excited to see her, and just to see somebody I think really does deserve that honor, because she is a hard worker. She's very dedicated to her staff. She's dedicated to her horses and their care, and I just feel like, wow, hats off to her for and to see her emotions when because they video them all, and then at the end you get to see the winner's emotions. And Jenna was riding the horse with Javier. I can tell you. And I think Javier won was that Javier's first win of Derby this year? I don't know. But anyway, he won the Kentucky Derby, but that was definitely his first Belmont. So cool for the jockey. But she was screaming, Javi, go, like he was going to go faster. And I think her and the exercise rider and the owner, how many people actually ride a horse in a race like that? A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, they're all riding the horse. But Javier Castellano did a fantastic job. And it was an amazing race to watch. And I won some money, because I'm not a gambler, except on those big races when I know somebody. So I won. It was good.
Woohoo!
I even had the first 3 right. And I won some there too.
Wow,
I know.
I need to get some notes from you.
I know. That's what everybody said afterwards. No joke. I actually told several people these are the first 3 horses. And then they text me after, I wish we bet.
Got to play to win the lottery. You got to play it.
Sorry. Shout out for Piranha, who are doing their phenomenal golf event again in the first weekend of November. This is the Piranha Life Tournament, and they do this to benefit 3 501c3s each year. Each one normally gets $10,000, and that is wonderful for these organizations. We've got Canines for Warriors, we've got the Youth Ranch, and then we've also got Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses, who do their literacy program both at the schools and here at the library, and a number of other places. The public library is actually here in town as well, who do wonderful work. So all 3 of those will benefit from this amazing tournament. So,
and what I like about Piranha is it's like your family. I remember this is when I first came in, and you said, okay, come to this event, and they actually invited us to their Christmas party. And so we got to go and hang out with everybody just like we were part of the group. So it was really
they're wonderful people.
Yes,
There's nobody quite like them as far as what
Shout
they do.
out to Kyle.
Yeah. What they do for our community, supporting the Equine Initiative here at the Chamber, is huge. So
And helping
definitely
with those
shout out to
flies.
them. Yes, and at this time of year, they are in full force. So get your Piranha barn set up. Make sure you get your mister, your lots and lots of bottles of that stuff around, because you need it for the next couple of months for sure. And also you can sponsor that event too, that Piranha Golf Tournament.
Come
you can
on,
play.
sponsors.
Yep, you can sponsor, you can play, you can put a team of 4 together and just support the event yourself. But really, jump on board. You can reach out to them, and you're going to golf with PGA Pro Ted Potter.
Ted Potter? Like Harry Potter?
Yeah, exactly.
That's his brother.
And if you're listening or watching this before June 15th, don't forget the CEP's Equine Initiative is June 15th at 2 o'clock at the Marion Therapeutic Riding Association. We'll be right back with Dr. Adam Kayott. Stay with us. This portion of the show is presented by Peterson & Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. And our TV broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Supporting sponsors are DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip LLC, Piranha, Florida HVAC Services, Crystal Cryo, Ocala Dog Ranch, and The Drinking Post. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference. Horsemen, are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? Lip Chip, built by horsemen for horsemen, is ready to revolutionize your world. The answer is in the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock your horse's health information. From driving to Grand Prix jumping, all horses, all breeds, and all disciplines. The future is in the integrity and transparency of all horse sports and in the safety of our horses. The future is here, and the future is Lip Chip. Experience the bluegrass. Step into the Elwood Hotel and Suites, situated in the heart of Lexington. Elwood is a unique yet familiar place, your home base, to explore. Minutes from the University of Kentucky and the best distilleries on the Bourbon Trail. Only a short drive from horse country and from the iconic Keeneland racetrack. Full of warm, natural light, Elwood rooms are inviting, a space to retreat, rewind, and relax. From spacious rooms to extended stay suites. Each room is unique, just like you. Don't miss a beat in your fitness routine either, and your furry friend is welcome too. Elwood has cozy beds, yummy treats, and snuggles too. Elwood is more than a landing place. It's a tribute to a contemporary southern lifestyle, a delicious place to refuel and to launch your Lexington adventure. Book your stay at theelwoodhotel.com and like them on Facebook now. Settle in at Elwood and begin generating memories in the heart of the bluegrass. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton, and we are in the CEP Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital of the world. And I have a rather precocious co-host today, Dancing Feet Rhoda from Complimentary Horsemanship. He came in quite an interesting mood.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. No, I'm
He
just
got a new shirt and he thinks he's something.
Oh, okay.
He's got it going on.
Well, let's go to the next segment.
Let's. We have Dr. Adam Kayott from Peterson Smith. He is going to talk a little bit about scoping. I'm sure you have heard of endoscopy before, and you may have even seen, yes, you may have even seen this done, perhaps if you've been at Ocala Breeder Sales or one of those events where that is part of the vet check. So you may have seen this, but if not, you're going to learn a bit about it with Dr. Kayott right now. Hope you enjoy.
Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television here at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care with Dr. Adam Kayott. We're going to talk about scoping a horse, but we're going to kind of specifically look at that in the racehorse world as part of the procedure that happens in order for a person to purchase a racehorse. We're going to say at OBS, since that's very close by here, and ask Dr. Kayott to explain how that procedure works.
So an endoscopic exam of a horse that is a prospect for racing, which typically happens at OBS here, any thoroughbred sale, there will typically be an endoscopic exam performed on the potential sales horse. And what we're looking for is we're looking for normal form and function of their larynx, so the whole structure. So that's the arytenoids, the vocal folds, the epiglottis, the soft palate, all those things that are back there. We pass the scope up the horse's nose, and then obviously through the fiber optic scope we can visualize the back of the horse's throat. And we need to make sure that everything is working the proper way, because that's very important. As these horses are, athletes, they have to be able to breathe well in order to perform their highest level. And things, if they aren't working in that area, that can be a hindrance to them being able to breathe as well as they can. The most common thing that we see, the most detrimental common thing that we see is laryngeal hemiplegia. So we have the arytenoids that are sitting in the back of their throat, and they act, these things close down when the horse swallows to prevent food from going into the trachea, and then when a horse takes a deep breath, they open up kind of like a tent. One of those, typically the left one, just because of horses, there's a lot of reasons why it's mostly the left one, but one of the main reasons is the nerve that actually innervates that is one of the longest nerves in the body, and the theory is that it has the highest chance of being injured. So anyway, so one of the arytenoids doesn't open all the way, so the horse is basically breathing with half capacity, and those horses will make a loud, what they call roaring sound. So you can hear that horse breathing. Their breathing is much louder than you would hear in a normal horse, and that's because of that air being interfered with as it's passing over that arytenoid that's just hanging in the airway. Obviously, that can be a detriment to a horse performing well in racing. Same thing with a show horse or a high performance horse as far as that goes. It's not quite to the level that it'll affect them in a racing, because racing horses are the extreme exertion as far as physical effort goes. So that's probably most important there. However, horses that are doing cross country or 3-day eventing, they obviously have to be able to breathe too, and that's a very high level of exertion as well. But so you're looking for that. Things as far as the epiglottis sits there, and you want to make sure that epiglottis is a normal size and shape. It's not deformed. It doesn't have any other abnormalities on it, like cysts or ulcerations to where it would be painful and not work properly. And then the soft palate. So the soft palate typically sits underneath the epiglottis, and horses then that we call flip their soft palate can get the soft palate on top of the epiglottis, and then the soft palate is wavering in the wind as well, so that can be an issue as well. A lot of these things can be solved surgically. Certainly a tie-back surgery would be one for the laryngeal hemiplegia, or the paralysis of the larynx. Basically, we get in there and we physically tie it open so it stays open all the time. They can fail. Hopefully they don't, but they can fail, and you might have to have a revision. But the idea is that arytenoid then is tied open, and it stays open all the time. The negative to that is obviously then the trachea is open all the time as well, so they can get food stuff in there, and those horses tend to cough and tend to have a little bit more irritation. Generally, that's it, but it can be a little bit annoying as far as that goes. Certainly, if the epiglottis is entrapped in the soft palate, we just can go in there and cut the soft palate, and that lets the epiglottis go, and so the epiglottis can work like it should. And then if the horse has a tendency to displace its soft palate, where the soft palate gets on top of the epiglottis, then we can do a surgery where they call it a tie forward. They actually bring the whole larynx and they tie the whole larynx forward to where that epiglottis sits more on top of the soft palate, so the soft palate is less likely to flip over. That's what we're evaluating with an endoscopic exam, and typically most horses, the endoscopic exams are normal, so we don't have to worry about anything, but we certainly give them, and then there's grades. A grade 1 is the best, and then a grade 5 would be really, really poor. But horses can fall in that, in between, to where there's some movement, but it's not normal. And so then you got to figure out, well, what are you going to, how are you going to deal with that? A lot of times it can be just caused by inflammation and basically a virus or something that has inflamed the trachea or the larynx. Then that's pretty easily dealt with. If it's fully paralyzed and there's no movement, then that's a little bit more of a concern, obviously.
Right, makes sense. So somebody might decide not to buy the horse, or at least take that into consideration.
It's just whenever you're buying a horse, it's just part of the puzzle. It's just more knowledge, the better,
outcome for you on the purchase.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, great. Dr. Adam Kayott, Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show. This portion of the show is presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and our TV broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Supporting sponsors are DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip LLC, Piranha, Florida HVAC Services, Crystal Cryo, Ocala Dog Ranch, and The Drinking Post. At Crystal Cryo, you can relax and enjoy a non-invasive cryo skin facial. Reduce fine lines and wrinkles and tighten the skin. Improve texture and tone. Stimulate collagen production. Reduce inflammation and acne. And increase blood flow to the skin, resulting in a more youthful, radiant appearance. And it all takes only about 30 minutes. Boost your confidence now and set up a consultation. Find Crystal Cryo at crystalcryo.net or on social media. Experience the ultimate in relaxation and rejuvenation. Pamper and revitalize your body, mind, and spirit at Crystal Cryo.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the third segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
As you know, we're on Equus TV. Don't miss it.
Woo!
All this will be on all week long. We have a wonderful young lady that I was introduced to via Betsy Vivacqua at Larson Hay. She is a Larson Hay sponsored rider and a wonderful young lady who's accomplished a lot and has a big bucket list ahead of her too because she is young. She's really a phenomenal rider and she has 4 horses she loves, one especially who joins us for this interview. So I hope you enjoy hearing from Roxy Waring, sponsored by Larson Hay, and I hope you enjoy
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Oh, you're like programmed, aren't you? Here she is. I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television, here at the ranch of Roxy Waring and her family in Ocala, the horse capital of the world. We're visiting with Roxy and Big Daddy here. And Roxy, tell us a little background on you. Have you been around horses all your life?
I have not. I started riding when I was about 5 years old in North Carolina. My first horse's name was Rosie, and I started barrel racing when I was probably 8, but I didn't grow up around like a horse environment.
No.
No, just our friends did it, so I just said I would do it too.
Now, were your parents into riding?
My mom rides a little bit, like every now and then, but not my dad, just mostly me.
So tell us why barrel racing? You just being around people that did it looked like fun?
We would go to the rodeos, our hometown rodeos in North Carolina, and it just looked so fun to me, the speed and just everything about it. And so I never thought I'd actually be able to do it until we moved here, and our friends did it, so I was like, I'll just start doing it too.
And so you obviously started to love it?
Yes, ma'am,
yes.
very much so.
Did you get very competitive right away,
Yes.
or did that come later?
I've always really been competitive, like any sport, so it just kind of came natural to me, and I just always loved it.
Did you do other sports before this?
Yes, and I've done a lot of sports.
Have you?
Yes.
Tell us.
I've done gymnastics, track, soccer, basketball, volleyball, cheer.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's it.
And you were competitive in all of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So tell us about Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, he is 11 years old, and he is out of BHR Frenchy Sox horse, which is by Crystal Shoemate in Micanopy, Florida. And he has a goofy personality.
He does, yeah. He's sweet.
Yes, but he's very, very fast in the arena.
And how old is he?
He's 11.
11.
Yes,
wow.
ma'am.
So he's pretty seasoned
Yes.
in the sport.
Yes.
Pretty good for you, yeah?
Yes, and still has a lot of years to get through.
Does he like to go?
Yes, very
He
much
enjoys
so.
it.
He's good in the alleyway, but then whenever he sees the barrels, he's out and ready to go.
So he knows his job?
Yes.
That's wonderful. What a sweet boy he is. Tell us about this saddle we're standing by.
This saddle is the Florida High School Rodeo Champion saddle for 2023 that me and Big Daddy won.
That's awesome. And where were you? Where did you compete?
It was like all over the state of Florida, mostly like Okeechobee. We went to Arcadia, but it's like one rodeo a month that we would go to, and you would have to get points to qualify and win. And yeah.
So you won against a number of other people?
Yes, a number of like the other Florida High School Rodeo girls barrels.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a lovely saddle to win.
Thank you.
Now, you went out of state to compete as well,
Yes,
right?
we've been to Texas and Georgia and like some other close states.
Yeah, so what's the furthest distance you've traveled for?
Texas.
Really?
And then in a month, we'll be out in Oklahoma and Wyoming.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
And what's in Wyoming?
Wyoming is National High School Rodeo, which is the Florida High School Rodeo that I'll be competing in for nationals. And then we'll be in Shawnee, Oklahoma for the International Finals of Youth Rodeo.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Big time stuff,
Yes.
right?
A lot
So
of driving.
What other horses do you have?
I have,
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make you jump. I got your whisper.
I have my other horse, Blue. She's also a barrel horse. And then I have a roping horse, Breakaway, Pork Chop. And then
Pork Chop.
Yes. And then he's also silly and goofy. And then I have my other paint horse, Slick. But we just recently retired him because he's like 22. But he was also my pole horse. But we had to retire him because he's just getting old.
Yeah. So do you compete on all of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Really?
Yes, he's my high school rodeo horse, and then my other horse, Blue, is what I'll do for like other little barrel races and stuff when we go out of town. But he's the main like rodeo horse.
Wow. So what do you do to prepare when you're going to compete? Do you get kind of stressed? Do you get anxious, or
Yes,
are you calm?
I've been working on staying calm. Definitely, my dad's always back there with me to help me like with my nerves and stuff. because I will get very nervous sometimes.
Really?
Yes.
How do you calm yourself down?
I like just start breathing. I've always had people tell me just breathe, and that's like the best thing you can do, and just try to stay calm the best you can. Just think of like other stuff instead of going out there.
Yeah, instead of the actual event,
Yes.
right? Yes, that makes sense. So tell us about who you look up to. Is there anybody like mentors, people in the rodeo world that you really like want to kind of aspire to be like?
I look up to Haley Kinsel, definitely. She's like a 3-time NFR winner for barrels, and she's just a great person to look up to. She's always positive and has a good attitude no matter what happens.
Well, that's wonderful. Everybody
Yes.
needs somebody to look up to,
Yes.
right? And how old are you?
I'm 16.
16. So is this something you plan to do for
Yes,
the rest
ma'am.
of your life?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, you do. And what's kind of your bucket list to win and to
Is the
accomplish?
NFR. And I want to get Rookie of the Year and make it to the NFR and hopefully win it one day.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Big goals, girl.
Yes.
Big goals.
Yes.
Now, how do you work school around all this? Is it tough?
Yes, it definitely is. I miss a lot of school for rodeos, but like my teachers, they somewhat like understand. So I just will do it on the road and stuff, but
And you managed to get good grades still?
a little bit.
A little bit. She's like, but it's the horses.
I get good grades except for math. I'm just not good at
I
math.
could never do that either. So listen, I can totally relate to that.
Yes.
100%. Tell us a little bit about how Larson Hay plays into how important everything you do is as far as the wellness of your horses, the fitness of your horses, and then how well they compete when you have a partner like Larson Hay.
Larson Hay helps all the way around. They help with getting the best hay for our horses to help me practice at home and on the road, and just in any rodeo performance, barrel races. They just help with their health and nutrition and having the best hay for them.
And your horses look very well.
Yes.
So you never have to worry about not
No.
having good quality
Yes.
forage for them. So great
Hay and
hay.
feed definitely help
Yes.
with anything.
Yes, absolutely, for sure. Wonderful. They're a fantastic partner. I see you supporting him.
Yes, ma'am.
Any brothers and sisters?
I have a stepbrother. Or no. Yes, stepbrother.
And does he doesn't ride?
No.
So just you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just you. And then and how many horses are here?
There's 4.
4. Wow.
Yes.
So you have options.
Yes.
But this is the high school guy.
Yes,
right
this
here.
is when I started out on my other horse, Blue, for the beginning of the year, and then we got Big Daddy in November, and so then I switched to him.
Oh, so he's fairly
Yes.
new for you.
Yes.
Wow. And how do you find a good barrel horse? Do you have good contacts for that?
Yes,
and you
we
know
got
who to go
him from one of our good friends, Macy Brown. She has helped me like from the beginning of start with barrel racing, and she's had him for a while, and we reached out to her to see if we could take him.
And he just obviously fits
Yes.
really well with you. I
Yes.
can see you've got a heart horse right here.
Yes, definitely. Forever home.
Oh, I love that. Any last things you want to tell us about you or about the sport or? Oh, you had something to say.
I think that's it.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, Roxy, I want to thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing your and your snot. Louisa Martin here for Larson Hay, the Horse Talk Show, and Equus Television. And we've been chatting to Roxy Waring about barrel racing and her very exciting future in the barrel world.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that could talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton! She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Hey there, horsemen. Are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? Lip Chip is ready to revolutionize your barn. Built by horsemen, for horsemen. Lip Chip knows how you ride. If you're tired of carrying around paperwork, dealing with long trailer lines, and juggling all your horse's details while trying to compete, then the answer is the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Each scan reveals everything you need to work, compete, and to protect your horses. View current health paperwork, pre-register for your next event, and even check in on your horse's health. Horsemen, let's keep our horses safe and make our lives at the barn a little easier. The future is here, and the future is Lip Chip. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Centre, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centres for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specialising in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com. or find them on social media. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton in the studio with Dancing Pete Roda, and we have a very special guest here with us, Dr. Esther Brummond.
The doctor is in the house.
That's right. Horse Country Clinic. I love that. She said, I can't believe that wasn't taken. I said, I can't believe it wasn't either. It's a great name.
What's it called?
Thank you.
Horse Country Clinic.
Horse Country
So
Clinic.
fitting.
Isn't that nice?
Considering we are in the horse capital of the world, it does fit, doesn't it?
That's right.
So I met you and your husband, I don't even know when it was, I think it was a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
A month ago.
We came to chat a bit about CEP and chamber and all that good stuff, and I got to know both of you, and then you came to one of our events, which was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently I had a dog problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
What kind of dog problem?
well, the one dog problem I have is my dog goes too fast out the dog door and flies airborne off the porch, landing several feet below on all fours, thinking that he can do it, which is likely what probably caused the initial problem. It didn't help that I have issues trimming his nails, and his nails were too long, which big life lesson for me, because that makes sense if you relate that to horses. With
Long
if
toes.
hooves, long toes, right. So that all makes sense, but Dr. Brummond actually came over and adjusted Aslan, my dog, last week.
And
It was amazing. What a wonderful experience for him. So tell us a little bit about dogs and how dogs are designed and what you do with chiropractic care for dogs.
So it's really the same premise as you or I or your horse, your dog, any animal really. We're just hoping that they are functioning at their best, they're in proper alignment, their joints are functioning properly, and that with proper motion, all of the sensory muscles in those joints are giving the central nervous system accurate feedback, which is responsible for homeostasis. So essentially, the body being in balance, which allows it to heal itself properly. So when you get a paper cut, do you have to do anything? Usually heals by itself. So same type of concept.
Nothing worse than a paper cut, sorry.
So same type of concept. We're just really trying to boost the immune system, have it functioning at its best. mobility, function, all that good stuff. And with horses and dogs specifically, we breed them in ways that are maybe not necessarily naturally occurring in nature, so sometimes they're predisposed to issues that you or I might not have.
We did talk about that today too, that some of these breeds, I'm a huge fan. We talked about French Bulldogs, absolutely love them. I had one for years, but they have a lot of problems because they are man-made. And a lot of these breeds, especially like, you know, I have rescue mutts, who knows what they are, but they might be some man-made breeds in there, and there are extra issues. But
and there's not many doggy doors and a big deck to jump off.
No, right, no, in the wild. No, this is true. But one of the things that I was really thinking about, especially in reference to dogs, and well, any animal, even horses, I think people tend to think of chiropractic as something that we need if we have a bad accident, or if we're older and in some way maybe disabled or hurting or in pain. But what it really made me think of when you came over to my house the first time, I really thought about Aslan's only 3. He hasn't had an accident that I know of, other than his large leaping off the porch. So it wouldn't have been a first thing. My first thing would have been, you know, rush him to the vet, which I had scheduled him to go for x-rays to find out what was going on and why he was limping so badly on that back left leg that I can no longer video to show you because he's on the beginning. And this had gone on for several weeks. I'm just going to say I wasn't being negligent. It kept going away. It would go away and then it would come back. I would think, oh, he's fine, you know. Him and Lucy were probably playing too rough, and then the next day, oh, it's gone. So I'd go, oh, he doesn't need to go to the vet. And then it would come back again, but it was mostly when he lay down, and it was mostly that left leg. But then when you came over, you pointed out the spine that was like sticking up, which isn't sticking up anymore, by the way, which is really also amazing. But being 3, it's not what I would have necessarily jumped to think of. And I wanted to do this segment because we focus mostly on horses, and almost all horse people have dogs. And I just don't know, and I know that horse people think a lot about their horses. I know they do. But sometimes I think, are there dogs out there that are like missing out on potentially stopping what later in life could turn into a much bigger problem, like an arthritis, make them very uncomfortable, have difficulty walking, and maybe could be corrected earlier on and maintained. So that was a big thought that popped into my head.
Well, just like you were saying with your experience with chiropractic, unfortunately, a lot of people don't see a chiropractor until they're in pain. But a chiropractor isn't necessarily a pain specialist. That's just a symptom that people have that tends to bring them to the chiropractor. So what we're talking about is a series of micro traumas, if you will, is really where the chiropractor comes in. We're a health and wellness specialist in a way, and a musculoskeletal specialist. And what we're really evaluating are all of these micro traumas that add up and create, in the long run, down the line, degeneration, pain, impaired immune system, things like that. So you're not functioning at your best. Unfortunately, your longevity is going to go down a little bit, your mobility, all these other things. You're going to have pain, cardinal signs down the line. So it's really the same thing here. Think about how you see your dog sleeping sometimes on their dog bed, you know, like this. You sleep like that too, you know, but you wake up in the morning, maybe you have a little, you know, ache, stretch out, okay, I'm good to go. But that joint is not good to go. You just don't realize what's happening. It's all being processed internally. So a lot of times we don't really pick up on these things right away because we're just not aware of it. And I'm sure, as you had told me as well, once you get under chiropractic care, you start becoming more aware of your own body, when you feel those micro misalignments, and you start getting ahead of it instead of waiting until you're experiencing pain and other issues down the line. So it's really the same thing with the dogs. Fewer issues are going to happen to them if they're more regularly adjusted. You know, they're not going to have as many health problems. If they are exposed to viruses, bacteria, things like that, absolutely we need veterinary care as well. But they're going to help get over those things faster because their immune system is going to be functioning better. Certain breeds, as we discussed, like the French Bulldog, German Shepherds, even if we can't necessarily address something like hip dysplasia, there are going to be secondary changes that are happening because of mobility issues due to that hip dysplasia. So what we can do is we can make sure that all the other joints are functioning as best they can, and then increase their mobility, increase their longevity through adjusting those joints and making sure those things are in order. So that's a little bit about the importance of animal chiropractic as a whole. You don't need to be an athlete to use chiropractic. You don't need to be old to use chiropractic.
You don't have to be broken to use chiropractic.
Exactly. It's really a wonderful thing for everyone, and
I couldn't live without it. For me, it's a once a week I have to.
And as we said, the nail trims, some of these little tiny things that we don't really think about. Think about how you might grab something out of the cupboard. You know, maybe you're overreaching and that's really not a great functional movement pattern, and 3 months down the line you've got a shoulder issue and now your hip is twisted and we've got all sorts of different functional changes. It's the same thing with the dog with nails that are too long. You know, we think, oh, I want to trim my dog's nails. Oh, they're scared. I'm scared. I'm just going to stop.
Oh, they hate it. Yeah.
Next thing you know,
You got a
they're
problem.
running around on ice skates, backs curved up, got issues going on. So it's all these tiny little things that we don't think about at the time that turn into issues
A
down
big
the
thing.
line. Exactly.
Yes. And Dr. Esther Brummond can work on all of those. So if you have a dog, looks like it's just a slight problem, it might be a good thing to nip it in the bud. And if you haven't done those nails lately, get them done.
Yes.
Very important. Thank
Very
you for
important.
being with us. Our
Thank
July
you.
4th show, we're going to have Dr. Brummond actually working on Aslan on the show, so we hope you'll tune in for that. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Check her out. She's amazing. We'll be back. We've got Fabian with us to talk about equestrian health coming up.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. Having an air conditioner that works well in Florida is a must. Experience peace of mind by working with Florida HVAC Services, a family-owned and operated company taking pride in always putting their customers first, providing air conditioner repair, installation, and maintenance services on all makes and models. For those suffering from allergies or asthma, air quality testing is recommended and hospital-grade air filters are available. Ask about a pure air filtration system today. Check them out at flhvacservices.com or like them on Facebook. Florida HVAC Services, serving all of North Central Florida with honesty, integrity, and the highest value of workmanship. And that's 100% guaranteed.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Join us July 22nd from 10 to 3 p.m. for the Equine Extravaganza at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion, Ocala. Brought to you by West Florida Fence and the Horse Talk Show. Fundraising for Spirit Equine Therapy and Open Hands Animal Rescue. Enjoy a fantastic breed show from miniature horses to Clydesdales. With jumping and dressage demos, you can also watch barrel racing, dog training, mounted shooting, and enjoy food vendors and crafts for kids, plus a silent auction. Check the Equine Extravaganza fundraiser event on Facebook, and we'll see you on July 22nd from 10 to 3 p.m. at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion for the best in horsing around in the horse capital.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here with Dancing Pete Roda from Complimentary Horsemanship, and we are in the CEP Equine Studios in downtown Ocala with Fabian Hronick from Reboot Self-Care. It's nice to have you back.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I know you're recovering from a knee thing, so we're happy you're up and about.
We're knee brothers.
Thank you.
You're knee brothers.
I want to make sure Pete felt comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You made him, both of you could be gimpy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I hope you're both healing up really good. So we're going to talk a little bit about something that I've never experienced. Did everybody laugh?
Yes.
Burnout. Mental and physical burnout.
Ah, I thought this was for you, this show.
It is. All equestrians.
Well, we were talking on our last show, and she says, "What should we talk about with Fabian with Reboot and for the equestrian?" And I
That's
said,
kind of a good topic.
"Yeah, let's do burnout." I said, "That's a big one for me."
Equestrian burnout.
Yeah,
I agree.
So,
sure.
what would you say is the biggest thing that, as an equestrian, we need to really watch for that burnout, and why is it important?
Pete's so serious about this. We're making a list.
We got a list.
Yeah.
We're making notes.
I grew up in the horse world my whole life, and the one thing I know is horses don't have vacations, right? They don't take breaks, so that means you, the owner and the rider, is not going to really have an opportunity to have a break, especially if that's your life, right? So knowing that, the idea is to just help the body keep up, right? There's a lot of ways you can do that, but one of the biggest thing is to make sure that you're taking care of your own health. So, for example, at Reboot Self-Care, one of the ways we do it is with a hair scan, epigenetic hair scan. And so what we do is we pull hairs from the back of your head, scan the follicle itself, and then it gives you a report on what is your body missing, what do you have too much of, and then with that, we start balancing your body out. So what that does, it gives your brain and your body a little bit of what it's asking for every day with a custom supplementation so that it can understand that you're at least giving it a fraction of what it's asking for with that workload that you're putting in. Of course, with riders, it's the horse too, right? Because that's 50% of the workload that's going in is your horse. If he's having a bad day, it's going to be more work for you, right? So what we kind of moved into is the equine side as well. It's like, how do we support the rider and the horse at the same time? So luckily, this company that developed the technology, it came out with the equine about 4 years ago, and so now we can pull hairs from the horse, see what the horse is deficient in, and if it is an irritable horse, right, it's just a little more snappy than normal, we can find out why, and then we make a custom compound to fill in those gaps, right?
So horse can avoid burnout too.
Yeah, so we want to make sure the horse and the rider are not burning out, right? I looked up a couple things of like hazards for riders, and these are like more generic, right? But they're pretty intense. For example, impact and crushing hazards. And that's a pretty serious thing, right?
Right.
There's not a lot of sports that deal with that. Falls, injuries, equipment failure, these are things that we can't control. But what we can do is we can at least help with some of the more advanced things that are available out there, like with chiropractic care, certain health services like oxygen therapy, heat therapy. We can at least help you recover faster. But what we can do by helping our riders with the nutrition part is help them to not reach that burnout point. Generally, when you reach your burnout point, it just means you have too much exertion for what your body can handle, right? So we just need to make sure you don't ever reach that point. It's kind of like, imagine a barrel that is just filling up, And once that barrel starts spewing over, it's going to become a problem, right? You're going to have symptoms, you're going to have issues, and then you can reach that point. But if we can keep taking a little bit of out of that barrel constantly, that's how you can keep up with it. And that's the goal, is if you get overwhelmed, then we just need to help your body.
So if I was at a point of burnout, what could I go to Reboot, and what could help me recoup? Like if I said, hey, I'm getting kind of burned out, can you recommend something I can come in this week and get done that could help me recover, or at least relax, so that I can go and take a breath?
Yes. The
Do not say Clonic. Sorry. Dang it.
It's not as bad as it sounds.
So the quickest thing we can do is an IV infusion.
Okay.
Because what we're doing is we're taking a concentration of nutrients and putting it straight into your bloodstream. So if you're not digesting well, you don't take time to actually sit and eat, then it might be hard for you to absorb and utilize the nutrients in the food. And sometimes capsules and pills don't have what they say they do. So IV infusion once a week is a great way when you're like in the bulk of your season or work activity, is once a week come in, do an IV infusion, and then you get a big boost to the system. That's how you can do it quick. Long term, it's about keeping the toxic load down in your body with things like colon hydrotherapy.
I knew we'd get to
Colon
pooping. I knew
hydrotherapy.
we'd get to the pooping part.
But then other than that, I've had a lot of great feedback with hyperbaric therapy.
Okay.
So you come in once a week, once every 2 weeks, you do a hyperbaric session. And when you're laying in the hyperbaric for an hour, what's happening is your body and nervous system gets an hour of break, because you have less tension on the body, because you're in this environment where
I fell asleep
you
in
have
it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you fall asleep when they do the cold stuff on your face when
if
Crystal
you can
cryo.
fall asleep in there,
It's
and
amazing,
you
though.
actually go into sleep. They tell us that it's like 2 to 3 hours of REM sleep if you're an hour of actual sleep in the hyperbaric chamber.
Wow.
It's for like
Sign me
it's
up.
5 times the it's 5 times the like oxygen that you could possibly get in your cells any other way. Because at EPIC, at Equine Performance and Innovative Center, Dr. Roulan has the hyperbaric for horses, and
Mac
I've seen
Daddy.
the results of horses that they said wouldn't survive, and have done treatments in there, and it is everything that your cell needs.
Yeah.
Oxygen load times 5, and it's concentrated in that hour into your cells, and it really
So
game
let's
changer.
be
Louisa's
realistic.
going to start going every week on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what we planned on.
We are.
So to be realistic, riders, I know that coming in every single week or twice a week is going to be hard. Saying, hey, you need to eat this, supplement this every day is not going to be 100%. But if we can get you once every 2 weeks or once a week to do something like an hour with an IV therapy or a hyperbaric chamber session, I feel like that's doable. And then
Or should be doable.
should be doable.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear
It
you
should
say.
be doable.
You
Like-
need to set this schedule just like you would want for your horse to take a break.
Exactly, because here's the thing, when we do our custom supplements for the equine, those horses get it every day, no matter what. But then the rider kind of neglects themselves.
Always.
No.
We always put our horses
I know, it
first.
surprised me too.
Yeah. Most people feed their horses before they feed their kids, and think about, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
horses are just
Oh,
like,
I've had people come to learn from me, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "We're feeding horses." But did you have breakfast yet? And I said, "No, not yet. I will after I
Horses
feed my
first,
horses."
Well, that's why I think it's really important that we do focus on equestrian health, because I do think that it is something that, you know, like you said, horses don't take vacations. Christmas
agree.
morning, we're up feeding our horses, you know?
Yeah, and there are things we can do. We can go to the riders and the farms and do there. So we are able to do
Oh, yeah,
that
to be
and be
mobile.
mobile.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Great.
So that sound meant we're at the end of the segment, but we regularly have tips with Fabian and have him on the show, so you can definitely get more information, and you can also go to his website as well, which is rebootselfcare.com.
Woohoo.
And check him out. Thanks, Fabian.
Thanks.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
back. We're going to take a break in just a few minutes.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show is brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment this week of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton here in the studio with Dancing Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship, and we're in the CEP Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital of the world. We've been talking about dogs, and we have a really great tip of the week from Ocala Dog Ranch. We love Neil, and Neil's going to be in next week too, which is really cool.
Oh boy!
I know. Here he is. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Hi there, this is Neil Hennessy with the Ocala Dog Ranch. Tip of this week is crate training. We live in a hurricane state where we might have to evacuate. And one good way to keep your dog safe, especially if we need to go to a shelter or a hotel, is to have your dog trained to go into a crate. So why don't you check out about having your dog crate trained? It's not cruel or unkind, it's very safe. Most dogs view their crate as a cave, somewhere to escape the rowdy relatives when they visit for Christmas. Again, Neil Hennessy, Ocala Dog Ranch.
I love some Neil, let me tell you.
Give me some Neil.
He's so great. He's so wonderful. What a guy. Ocala Dog Ranch. Actually, my dogs will be headed there at the end of the month for their dog staycation while I'm in Ireland. So, what did you rub off the board for? We had stuff we had to do.
I took pictures of it.
That's so much
This is for my segment. Don't laugh at me.
It's horsemanship tip of the week time with you know who.
Dancing Pete's tip of the week, brought to you by Complimentary Horsemanship.
Remember?
Yeah. So our tip of the week
He
is...
used to dance like that.
I wrote these down.
Before he did the splits.
Yes, okay, laugh it up. Thank you. So the tip of the week is what we think we are saying is not always what the horse hears. And so there's a famous quote that Ray Hunt used to say, and I actually looked it up. Alan Greenspan is who created it, and it goes, "I know you think you understand what you thought I said, but I'm not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant." And I do this with my students all the time.
I'm confused.
Slow down. So
one more time.
No. So I always tell my students they get frustrated with their horse when he doesn't do it right when they're riding. or on the ground. And I do this little thing on the board or in the sand. 2 plus 2 equals what?
That says 1 minus 1.
Let me say it again. 2 plus 2 equals what?
Okay.
So I'm writing, and what would you put there? You'd put a 0, and then you'd get in trouble for it. This is what my seat is actually saying, but what I wanted you to say is 4. So what we think we're asking the horse what to do is not translated when we on our butt or our seat. We're actually saying the opposite. And then my professionals, I do this, 1.999999 plus, they got that right, 1.999999, and they think they're getting 4.00000. But when they're off by that little, they feel it's bigger than what you were off.
Right, comparatively.
Right.
Right, because
So
they're professionals.
Don't get frustrated with your horse when you're not really saying what you think you're saying.
What if you don't realize that's the case? That's when you need somebody like Pete to say, hey.
Yeah, you're having trouble. And I get 9 times out of 10 when I see somebody having trouble and I come and help them, it's because they think the horse is understanding what they're saying. And then when I break it down to them, it's like, you're telling him to do exactly what he's saying. And they're like, really? And then I just adjust a little bit for them, and boom, the horse does it. And they're like, oh. Or if I said, what's the answer now? And you're like, I got to think about it. So some horses have to think about it before they just get the answer.
Very good tip of the week.
Thank you.
From Dancing Pete Roeder. Some phenomenal things I saw this week that were amazing that I want to share with you. I saw Mandy, who lost Dolly in the woods, get to come home from the hospital.
Woohoo!
And Tammy Leedy and I went to visit her and took her little paint horse. We tried to get one that looked a bit like Dolly, but it's hard to get a cuddly draft horse, by the way, just in case you ever tried. But we got to see her and Heidi, who helped us looking for Dolly in the woods, or rather we helped her. She was leading the charge. We helped Heidi. But she got to come home, and the first thing she wanted to do was go and see Dolly. So she did. Heidi took her over there to see Dolly, and Dolly was pleased to see her. So that was a story that ended very well, and a big relief. And I have 2 wonderful new friends that I think are absolutely phenomenal people out of it. So actually they're coming over to help me trim my dog's nails. So
Wow. They're brave. They thought finding Dolly was exciting.
I know, right? Well, they have Great Danes, so they're used to dealing with miniature horse size stuff. I also tasted some Seminole feed today.
Oh, no.
Big, huge pet peeve for people who know me is licking fingers, but I did it, and I could have poured milk on it. It was delicious. So I got to try some Dynasport today, and that was incredible. But I didn't know that Seminole Feed Stores has 1 million bags of feed a year go out of there. And I also didn't know that they ship to 12 states, made right here down by Tuscarora Park in Ocala. Can you believe that?
What 12 states?
She told me. I can't remember them all. Both the Carolinas, Georgia,
Florida,
New Mexico, Texas, Florida, and a couple of others. But anyway, it was pretty impressive that they make that many bags of feed at that mill right here, and nothing else but Seminole feed is made there. They don't have any possibility of contamination with any cow feed,
which is really important.
Which is really important, and they are so particular about how every single thing is done. And I even wanted to know how they get those bags so flat and skinny like that. I'm not going to tell you, though. You're going to have to wait for the interview about that. That they get those bags really flat and skinny, and there's a way. It's really cool. So I'll share all that with you, because
the little things in life.
I know. Anyway, we got a tour of the mill. It was really cool. And I saw Aaron Vale and his daughter and his wife all riding together in the arena together, and that was amazing. And Kinza, his daughter, is just him in a female younger version coming up. She's going to be just like him. He's the best U.S. rider, I think, jump rider we've ever show jumper I think we've ever had.
He was saying she's really competitive too.
Oh, she is.
She wants to win.
Yeah, she was trying to talk them into buying this horse that she likes, that she was riding. So just really cool to go out there and have that experience and be around them.
You never invite me to these fun.
That's because you're always
outings.
working when I go.
Well,
It really...
Give me
it's
some heads up. Maybe
it-
I can schedule it.
Oh, do you think I ever have a heads up on anything I do?
No.
I'm the queen of winging it. It's like, this is what we're going to do. So,
When are you going to reboot? I don't know.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. We got it set up.
Wednesdays, yes. So those are fantastic things that just in the past week that we can share. And do you have any fantastic things to share? You're walking.
I'm walking
Very well.
better. It's feeling better. Just seeing students improve. I had a student today that just lifed up and her horse went right into the trot and the canter and she's just lit up like a Christmas tree. So Marianne Conti, way to go. So
There's nothing better when you have that moment you've been waiting
and she's
for.
understanding it. Like, we've been doing this for about 3 years and she never really understood it, and then boom, she's like, I get what you're saying now. And so it was great.
It's the click.
Oh yeah,
It's when it all suddenly makes sense.
definitely.
So next week we have a couple of great guests also that are going to be in the studio with us. We're going to have Nathan Greiner with us, who actually works out at Aaron Vale's farm with his horses.
He's a great horseman.
Wonderful guy, wonderful young man. And of course Neil from Ocala Dog Ranch, so you know that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yay.
So whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world or not, happy horsing around. Till the same time next week.
See ya.